Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary for another video. It is Tuesday, so karibuni sana, karibuni sana. I'm so glad to see you guys. Let me get to the point today. Hey, eh? William Samoei Ruto has declared war on the Kenyan people. The president of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, has declared war on Kenyans. That is the topic of the day. I will be very brief as usual, so please strap up, put your seatbelts on, because it's going to be a rough road here when I speak. Kachini. If you're drinking tea, weka chini your chai. If you're drinking alcohol, weka chini. Grab some milk because you'll need it. Karibuni sana, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start with the formalities. If this is your first time in this channel and you're wondering who is this crazy person speaking, my name is Kenya Revolutionary. I talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. So karibu sana. That's what I talk about. So if you like that kind of stuff, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and put the notification button on. So every time I come in, you can always chime in and join in the conversation. You can your opinion on the chat. I will highlight it and read it. Keep it respectful if you care, if you will. I don't care. I don't care if you cuss. Just keep it respectful, okay? But anyway, karibuni sana. William Samoei Ruto has declared war on Kenyans. That's the topic of the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, if you've already subscribed to this channel, you know the first order of business is to do what? Subscribe. Like the video. Now, let's get to it. William Samoei Ruto, we all know by now that he sneaked some bills, 8 of them, while the country was busy, worried about what will Winnie Odinga say in his father's funeral. What will Babu Owino, will he get jumped when he goes to Opoda? That's what we were worried about. We were looking at the mourners in Opoda, the mourners in Mamboleo, the mourners in Kasarani, okay? While Ruto signed into law those 8 draconian bills. Now listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bunch of people who should be held accountable for this act. There was no consultation with the people when these bills were passed. Parliament is also responsible for this, okay? Because they had to sign it off, vote on these bills, yay or nay. And obviously they voted for yay. Before it gets to the president, it's a 5-step process, okay? We didn't hear anything about these debates. At least the media also failed us. They never told us that the issue was being debated on or being voted on, because this is a matter of public interest. It is our decision here to make. But our representatives, I don't know when they did it, but they voted on it and assented it. The president got it in his desk and signed it, and it's law now. It's no longer a bill, it's a law. It's an act, okay? The cybercrime law. Go read it. The land law, the privatization law, okay? And so forth, so forth. You can hear people are getting louder speaking. Sifuna mentioned it today. Maraga is going to speak on it today on a press conference. I don't know if he has already have. Let me know in the comment section if you heard from Maraga, because I know he was going to hold a press conference with Okiom Tata and others. Okay? So we can see. You might be wondering, is this hyperbole? The topic that William Ruto is declaring war on Kenyans? It's not. It's actually true. If an individual who we've entrusted to carry out the administrative part of our government, okay, run the administrative part of our government, the executive branch, who is Ruto, who we consider the head of state, who we consider the chief of armed forces, okay, decides, okay, to act, okay, pass laws that violate our individual rights, our freedoms, civil liberties, freedom of expression, how we do and how we acquire our land, the indigenous land that we have in Kenya. Okay? And he goes ahead and privatize our industries, our parastatals, industries that we can actually collect taxes so that we can build schools, okay? Build hospitals, provide medications from these revenue that we can collect from these industries. He decides to privatize it, sell it to in private hands. And the law also says that he's allowing foreigners to lease our land for as long as 100 years. Leasing private land. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, distinguished guests, this is an abomination. Not only is it an abomination, it is a declaration of war. Tell me if it's not. Someone comes, okay? Someone decides to sell your assets that is bringing you revenue, renders you jobless, puts taxes the land that you own to a point where he knows if you do not have huge revenue, you will not have, if you don't have enough income, you will not have enough money to pay the taxes in order to keep on owning that land. In fact, I saw some section of that law, the land law, that there's a certain amount that if it reaches, if you're behind in your tax to a certain point, the land is taken away from you. So he wants to take away your land through this high taxation. Okay? He privatizes and sells off the parastatals that actually can bring jobs to our youth and any other Kenyan out there. So that way you don't have income. So when you don't have income, you can't pay the taxes for the land that you actually own. Okay? Then, to top it off, he doesn't want you to express that your dissatisfaction about what he's doing online. He doesn't want you to criticize him. He doesn't want you to go to the streets and protest a right that is guaranteed and enshrined in the 2010 Kenyan Constitution. He doesn't want you to do that. He doesn't want you to go to on X or Instagram or TikTok to talk about the kind of draconian laws that he's passing. So here you are, he's taxing you to death. And if you fall behind on these taxes to a certain amount, he will take your land. So you will be landless. When you go find a job in these industries, parastatals, these neo industries like Rivertex, he has actually sold them to the private sector. You're not guaranteed that job. As a matter of fact, your chances of getting employed is next to slim. Next to none. So you're landless, because you've lost your land because you can't maintain the taxes. You can't find a job because every industry is privatized. And you can't express yourself on the internet, mtandao, the one place that we can actually express ourselves freely without worrying about Ruto coming for you. Now he has made laws that actually, if he finds that you're saying things that are not good about him, he'll fine you 20 million or you do 20 years or 10 years in prison. Ruto is turning Kenya into a large concentration camp. William Samoei Ruto is turning Kenya into a concentration camp where you don't own anything, you don't have a job, and you can't express yourself. There's no healthcare. We already know about El Nino. We also saw Safaricom. They were trying to settle a case outside the courts because they violated the rights of their customers by sharing data. personal data. You see what is happening here? You see what is happening here? Now, some of you, not all, but some of you are still entertained by the political games, theater that is going on. Remember, I always quote James Carville, the former Bill Clinton's advisor, who said Hollywood is for pretty people, good-looking people. Politics is for ugly actors. Now, the media and some of these politicians want to create a new episode of political theater. You saw Cheragay came out and said ODM should kick out Sifuna. So the concentration, they want to move the concentration into what? ODM. We start talking about the split that is happening in ODM. Oh, Sifuna will go with Kalonzo. Oh, Babu Owino will go with Kalonzo. Oh, sijui Mbadi will stick with the president. Oh, sijui Junet will sijui be. Huh? That is what we want to focus on. That is what the media and the political class wants you to focus on. Inconsequential issues that cannot bring bread and bacon on your table. And then on top of that, he has opened the country up to foreigners who are coming in with their foreign currency and pricing we locals out of land and property. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim. Very good comment. This is a declaration of war on Kenyans. Kama hamuoni, sijui macho mtatoa wapi. Most of you think war is when people wamebeba silaha na wanaenda kukutana kwa uwanja wa chapani bunduki or makofi or mamgumi or mapanga or whatever the case is. My friend, this is war. If somebody wants to take the property from you by introducing laws that you know it will disadvantage majority of the indigenous people, laws are supposed to be made, okay, passed to protect and should be in the interest of the people. That is why in the parliament, in the process of making a law, passing a bill into law before it becomes law, those members of parliament are supposed to go back to their constituency and address their constituents, their people back in Mashinani, have public, what we call public participation. If I'm not wrong, Article 118 addresses that in the Constitution. It has to take place. You have to consult with the people. Explain to them what this law pertains to so that they have a good grasp, understanding of what this law and the implications of that law will be once it is passed. So they get to decide if they want to accept this law, this bill to become law, or they reject it. So if they say they do not want it, the member of parliament goes back to parliament and say, I've consulted, I had a public participation in my constituency, and they say they do not want it. Kim Stellas, I'm one of the people who have been warning our fellow Wakenya about the influx of these Western foreigners, but we are told that we are envious at we are hating on them. Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you say that because I was just reading that on X. A lot of people are saying that, hey, it's like there's a huge influx of foreigners, Americans, Italian. I mean, the Europeans have been doing this in Malindi, in coastal region, where they go to southern coast of Uko Malindi or whatever the case is, and they buy a lot of beach plots. They marry the local boy, okay? Alafu wananunua mashamba huko, wananunua those beach plots and all this stuff, okay? They've been doing that. But now it's been done in a large scale. Sasa unaona hawa foreigner wanakuja Kenya na pesa zao, madola ama euros or whatever, their currency which is a little bit stronger than ours, okay? Then they come and buy the indigenous land at a throwaway price since we cannot pay these taxes. So it is actually designed, if you look at the intention behind this land bill, it is designed to lawfully take land from the indigenous people through this high taxation in order to do what? To sell it to the people who have money, who are the what? The bourgeoisie of Kenya, who are what? Have strong connection to these corrupt political elites, political class, as we call them, in Kenya, or foreigners and foreign entities. Don't be surprised if you see foreign companies, corporation, this multi-corporation, multinational corporations like Exxon, Shell, and others to come in Kenya and buy huge land. Because people will start losing their land because they cannot keep up with the taxes. Huh? Unasikia? I keep telling our people one day we'll all wake up and find ourselves landless. We forget so quickly, Kenyans. Do you know the Mau Mau War against the British was about land? Most of the, listen, 95%, if not 98% of conflicts all over the world are about land and the resources that can be gotten from that land, can be extracted from that land. Congo, why are they fighting? It's for the control of the minerals that are contained in that land. Palestine and Israel, it's about land. Name it. Ukraine and Russia, it is about land. Sahel nations against France, the fight in northern Nigeria, it is about land. South Africa, huh? That law that they passed about land reform laws that walianza kutumia wazungu hapo, the Africans, it was about land. Mugabe in huh? It's all about land. Okay? I don't know, somebody was calling me when I was alive. I don't know what they're thinking. Let's you wait. All sorts of foreign, whites, black, Americans, Arabs, and Lebanese, Somalis, Israelis, and other wealthy continental Africans are coming to Kenya and they're doing the same. Absolutely. Listen, people. I said yesterday in my video, we cannot wait. We are not going to wait for a politician to stand up wajifanye. Unaona kila Sifuna anataka kudandia hiyo issue. You'll see Kalonzo will dandia hiyo issue. You'll see Martha Karua atadandia hiyo issue. Utaona Maraga ndio huyo, Matiangi. Huh? They will all jump on this issue. But here's an opportunity, Gen Zs. Oh, listen to me, Gen Zs. With the absence of Raila Odinga, this is your moment. This is the moment for Gen Zs to stand up and let their voices be heard. Because it is now evident that Ruto will never respect anyone's voice unless the people go to Mandamano. How did Raila get his way? Raila, rest in peace, always got his way by sending his supporters to the streets and making the country ungovernable, forcing the president of the day into a dialogue that Raila actually wanted. So ndio apate hiyo ninyo yake, apate hiyo mnusu mkate yake. How did we force Ruto kurudisha hiyo finance bill? Remember? Ni maandamano June 25th, 2024. Maandamano. So maandamano is the language that the political class understands. He will not hear anybody else. Hao akina Sifuna watatokezea na press conference zao karibu 20 every day. Press conference. Maraga will be conference. Gachagua will have his 2-hour interview, sit down, interview, exclusive, giving us all these astounding accusations against Ruto. It will not affect Ruto because Ruto has declared war on Kenyans. And the only language he understands is when the people of Kenya of all generations wajitokeze in the streets and speak up. And let's not speak up, just speak up against this land and cybercrime. It is time to remove Ruto. It is time to remove Ruto. Because Ruto has been passing this kind of laws since he entered the government. Today I'm going to talk to you in plain English so you can understand. Ama niongee Kijarati. Naweza nikazungumza Kiluya, Kijaluo, Kikuyu, Kikamba, Kigiriama, Salam Kadze, Sina Manyara. How do you want me to say? How do you want me to talk to you so you can understand what's going on here? Maandamano, wakati wa maandamano imefika. And this time Raila Odinga is not going there to impede what is about to happen, to negotiate anything. Listen, freedom is not actually free. Mnanisikia? Freedom is actually not free. If you look at these democracies, these countries that we hail as the great democracies, whether it's UK, United States, or other countries, they fought for their freedom. They had to protest. Go look at their history. It's full of protests and revolutions and kind of all sorts of things happening. I mean, even now there's protests against, what is going on in against Trump, whatever the case is. This is part of how societies express their displeasure against power when they feel their rights are being infringed on. It's the most effective way to affect change. Si kwenda kwa nini ati kupiga kura. Ruto has that one locked. I know I can entertain you for 2 seconds talking about the possibility of Kalonzo Musyoka making inroads, inheriting that proverbial opposition leader, king of the opposition position, if you know what I mean. I can spend 10 hours with you here talking about how the ODM will collapse, how Sifuna will go to this place, or how Babu Wino will do this, or how will I can do that. But what will it profit you? Babu Owino becoming the governor of Nairobi or failing to do so is not going to change the situation. Sifuna becoming senator of Nairobi or endorsing Kalonzo is not going to change these cybercrime laws that Ruto is passing. Natembea, joining hands with Wamunyoro, will not affect any change, will not stop Ruto. Raila Odinga, the only person who could actually tame Ruto, decided to join him in government, and now he's gone. So what are you left with? What are you left with? We saw what worked in June 24th, 2025. The Gen Zs showed us the way. So why are we still looking at each other like we don't know what should be happening? Tunaangaliana tunasema, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? What should we do? Huh? Ama, you want to spend the next 8-10 months talking about the collapse of ODM or the next elections, an election that has already been predetermined? Huh? Huh? Mnasikia? Mnasikia lakini? Hey, aya. Kima ananiambia hapa, we also need to talk about people-pleasing and brown-nosing attitude of our people who grovel at the feet of foreigners while preventing numbers of different Kenyans tribe from buying the same land. Absolutely. Huh? You know, in a functional society, I won't call it democracy. I don't necessarily believe in democracy. I think democracy is a myth. But in a functioning society, let's just use democracy for the sake of the topic. What the people should have done or should do is to go knock on their representatives' offices. Okay? Not even before they do that. They should go to the Hansak and find out who voted yay for these bills. Let me read you something very quickly. I don't have my computer. What I'm trying to say before I read you this stuff, what I'm trying to say is this. If a law like that is passed, of course, we know the process of lawmaking. Okay? So for those MPs that voted for these particular bills, that is where this fight should have started. Knocking at their doors and demanding answers and demanding that they repeal that law immediately. That is how functioning this democracy would have worked. But at this point, with the understanding that this parliament, which already had been declared null and void in June 25th, 2024, last year, when the people invaded the parliamentary building and the mace was taken out of there, now wale wana MPs walikimbia. That day, the parliament was rendered useless, null and void. The people took power from the parliamentarians. The Gen Zs, the people, took power from the parliamentarians. So that vote, that these bills that were voted into law should be null and void. But since these MPs are still arrogant and they keep on passing these laws that are designed to oppress the people of Kenya, it is not advisable to go seek questions from these same parliamentarians who have been paid, bought, and sold by Ruto. It is not useful to go ask them questions. Why did they do what they do? Because we already declared them null and void. They don't exist. But wanakaa tu hapo na macho ngumu. So the next course of action, since the whole system is rotten, every aspect of our government in Kenya, whether it's the executive branch, judicial, and the legislative branch, is all corrupt. You cannot have a surgical change from within. Like some people are arguing that, oh, we should start with the parliamentarians, vote the Gen Zs in so they can vote the president out, impeach him. These Gen Zs, if you put them there, they will also be compromised. We have young people in that parliament, and they've been compromised. So the issue is not age. The issue is integrity and adherence to the Constitution. So in the case like Kenya, where every arm of government has been corrupted, you don't go to an election thinking that you will vote in somebody of integrity, whether it's Okiya Mtata or Maraga. Don't fool yourself. And while Ruto has told you in Waziwazi that they are going to steal the elections, the only solution to the Kenyan problem, political problem, is a people's peaceful revolution. It has to be said. And Ruto knows it. That's why he will work with the media to entertain you in the next 2 months with the political theater. Usarakasi wa siasa. Hii story ya kina Junet, story ya sijui Oburu, story ya sijui nani, story ya sijui UDA, that will be the main topic. Because they want to divert attention from the action. Let me read you what happens. Let me read you what happens very quickly so you can understand how grave this matter is. I know some of you still want to talk about, oh, how the legacy of Raila Odinga. I don't give a... I don't. The man is arrested. Amekufa. Legacy, there's no time for that. Mnanyang'anywa land while you're talking about legacy. Hold on. Wacha niwasomee kitu hapa. Hold on, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Let me read you what's happening right now. Let me read you what's happening. Ama namna gani? Patie tu dakika tatu moja. Hold on. Here it is. Let me read you this so you understand how serious it is. Listen, I understand. For those of you who I had in Luo tradition, somebody as huge as Raila Odinga should be mourned for 30 days. Fine. You want to mourn Raila? Go to Opoda. Go mourn Raila Odinga. By all means, go mourn him. But we have work to do. We have what? Work to do. Listen to me. This was posted by somebody called Mosh on Twitter. He said, while you are mourning Raila Odinga and celebrating Mashujaa Day, the government quietly cleared the sale of 11 corporations just days after President Ruto signed the privatization bill into law. The list reads like the auctioning of our national soul. Number 1, the Kenya International Convention Center, KICC. Number 2, Kenya Pipeline Company. Remember when Raila was telling us it's okay to sell Kenya Pipeline, that it will bring me money to us? And that's the man that you're going to mourn for 30 days. Okay. It's your right. Go mourn him. I'm not. Number 3, Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers Limited, KVM. Number 4, Kenya Literature Bureau. Number 5, Rivertex East Africa. Number 6, National Oil Corporation of Kenya. Number 7, Kenya Seed Company. Number 8, Mwea Rice Mills Limited. Number 9, Western Kenyan Rice Mills Limited. Number 10, New Kenya Cooperative Creameries. Number 11, Numerical Machining Complex. As the country grieved a leader who stood for the people, I will not read that because he never stood with the people, so I'm not going to go back. 11 parastatals that were the government owned, the Kenyan people owned, not the Kenyan government, but we the people own, are sold. Let me take a drink here. Coca-Cola says it's called a subscription break while I drink this Coca-Cola. Whew. Guys, subscribe to the channel. Well, I explain to you. 11 companies that were owned by Kenya have been sold already within the past, I don't know how long. It's not been long. While some of you are still talking about, oh, let's look back at how great Raila Odinga was. Like I say, it's a prerogative. If you want to go on mourn Raila Odinga, who just a few weeks ago, literally 3 weeks ago, something like that, was telling us, hey, what is wrong with selling pipeline? The pipeline is still here underneath us. Tunauza, alafu hiyo pesa tutachukua. That's the argument. Like as if we are dumb, we don't understand the importance of ownership. Your rice mills, Rivertex, Kenya Pipeline, KICC, an iconic building in Kenya, has been sold to private hands, probably international bodies, corporations. Mumeuza. Aya. Kim makes a good point here again, says, and this is happening. European NGOs are being granted diplomatic immunity, and Cambridge is now working with Bill Gates and some contraceptives for women. Sema the population. Oh, we know about Bill Gates. Mimi nawaambia, these steps by Ruto is a declaration of war. Hii si vita ya kupigana mangumi kwa mangumi, bunduki na bunduki. This is a vita of the will of the people. Thank you, Mugendi. Nice seeing you. Huh? And don't forget Adani and JKA, which are still ongoing. Even our airports. We might as well even change the name of Kenya and call it, I don't know what. Huh? This is a declaration of war. And in this war, it is about the will of the people is being tested. Thank you, Mugen. The will of the Kenyan people is being tested. NGOs are flocking in Nairobi, Kenya, while Burkina Faso has banned all the NGOs. See the difference? NGOs are determining the policies of Kenya. NGOs do not exist in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has paid all its debt, external debts. Kenya is privatizing its industries. Burkina Faso is strengthening its industries, owning it, producing their own electric cars. They're even producing airline. They're going to be a challenge to Boeing and Nino. What's the other one? It's Boeing and Airbus. They're challenging. They're building roads, infrastructure, increasing production, food, self-sustainability, not privatization. You don't privatize your industries. You don't privatize your land. You don't sell your land. Huh? This is a declaration of war. It is no longer past the normal politics. There's no time to mourn Raila Odinga. I'm sorry. We'll mourn Raila Odinga once we get freedom. And then we'll say, oh, okay, there used to be a person called Raila Odinga. There's no time. This is a declaration of war by Ruto. The question is, what will the Kenyan people, how will they respond? Are you waiting for another Raila Odinga to tell you to go to Mandamano? Are you waiting for Sifuna to call the press conference? Maraga? Babu Owino? Are you waiting for all these clowns that want to work cloud chasing to remind you that these bills are actually encroaching on your rights, individual freedoms, liberties, freedom of expression, violating the supreme document in Kenya, which is the Constitution? What are you waiting for? 2027 elections? So that Ruto can rig himself back to power and continue privatizing the whole country. Ruto will even sell us. You will wake up one day and there'll be Mzungu telling you, I own you. You belong to me. Ruto alishakuuza. And technically, amewauza. That's why they're selling your personal data. Whoever holds your personal data controls you. He knows too much about you. He knows your health status. He knows where you buy your things. He owns you. Modern day slavery. 3 UN agencies are permanently relocating to Kenya, one of them being an agency dealing with population, and Kenyans are celebrating. At Kenya, they'll create jobs. The naivete among some of our people. Naivete. Yes, Kenyans are naive, very naive. Wanafikiri having UN in Nairobi is a wonderful thing. This is a declaration of war, ladies and gentlemen. Unaelewa? So for those of you who are saying, oh, Raila fought for these things, Raila did not fight for these things. Like I said, I gave you an example. Just a few months ago, few weeks ago, basically, before he was reported dead, he was advocating for Adani to take over airports. He supported the sale of the airport to Adani. He supported the sale of the pipeline. He asked us to give Ruto time to continue plundering Kenya into an economic disaster ditch that is already in and is digging deeper. So no, Raila Odinga did not fight for Kenyans. And there's another thing about pastors that I want to talk about. The pastors that usually say that it is God who puts these presidents in power. What a load of nonsense. Mtu anaiba kura, alafu anakuwa president, then you say ati God amemweka hapo. But that's a topic for another day. I just want to emphasize, bring this to your attention, the sense of urgency that we should be having with all this madness happening, while we are still talking about Opio Wandai, where will he survive? I saw Akina Nelson Harvey talking nonsense on TV about ODM and all the. Who cares? Raila is dead and gone. You want to mourn him, go to Opoda. Kenya has to move on. We are at the state of emergency. Ruto is attacking us. He's taking everything. We have no time to go mourn Raila. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will have a second session later on today. I have to attend to things. So, Kim, thank you very much. Katende from Uganda, thank you so much, Uganda. I hope you're doing well. And everybody else who's been watching. Follow me on X. If you're on X, follow me on X. If you're on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I have to end it here. I'll have another session later on today. Hopefully, so put your notification on so when I have it, when I come on, you can join the conversation and we can continue dissecting. The focus now should not be on this political class. The focus now should be how do we remove the political class? All of them, starting with Ruto. Okay? And Dawayao is a popular revolution, the Nepal way. We saw that. That is the only language that they understand and respect because they are no longer representing us. They are no longer advancing our interest. They are advancing their own selfish interest while selling everything, violating the constitution, taking our land away from us by these draconian laws, raising taxes to make it difficult for us to maintain what we already have, suppressing dissenting voice by bringing these laws, punitive laws, saying that if you express yourself in a certain way on the internet, you'll be charged 20 million or serve 10 years in prison. That is suppression of freedom of expression. Will the Kenyan people stand for it? Will the Gen Z stand for it? You cannot rely on the Sifunas and the Babu winners, okay? And all these career politicians, legacy politicians, who are not different from Ruto, to honestly fight for you. Absolutely. Okay? Thank you, Oopsie. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. And put that notification bell on. I will talk to you guys later. I'm Nagani. Peace and blessings, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'm out.